The Treasury dropped some bad news for the government today, and you deserve no spin, just the truth, to understand what is happening out there, and more importantly, how we as a government are taking responsibility and doing something about it. Yes, these Treasury figures are bad. We could spend a lot of time talking about whose fault it is, and it is worth noting that what Treasury's told us today is that times under Labor were actually worse than they reported at the time. That's why they've had to change their reporting and actually retrospectively give us more accurate data. That means we have a bigger hole to climb out of than we previously thought. That is the honest truth and the reality we now face. The good news is that we now have a government that gets it. Just as you, every firm, every farm, every family in the last 5 years has had to tighten their belt and work their way out of challenging economic circumstances, we now have a government that is committed to doing exactly the same thing. And I'm proud that we're cutting wasteful spending, we're cutting the size of the bureaucracy, and perhaps most importantly, we're cutting red tape right across the board. As a budget minister, I'm deeply involved in making the savings that are necessary for the government to have a pathway back into surplus. You will have seen people making tough decisions saying we just can't afford to carry on the way that we are. There will have to be more of that. We are committed to a $2.4 billion operating allowance, which means that after inflation, after population growth, each year for the next 4 years, we will be forced to make savings in the way we operate government. Then I look at what others across the government are doing. Brooke van Velden, working on the health and safety regulations as well as the employment laws, so it's easier for one Kiwi to offer another Kiwi a job and get the work done to produce more for themselves and their families. That is crucial work. Nicole McKee, Minister of Justice Associate, working to simplify the anti-money laundering laws that make it so much harder for people to do ordinary transactions. Andrew Hoggard, making it easier for Kiwi farmers to farm, to feed New Zealand, as well as about another 8 New Zealand's worth of consumers. That's how productive our farmers can be, but they need to be released from the freshwater laws, the climate laws, the SNAs and the RMA and the red tape that farmers have described to me as an avalanche of regulation. We're digging out that snowfall too. Then you come to Simon Court, another person I'm proud to call an ex-colleague who is working assiduously on replacing the Resource Management Act so it's easier for people to use their property, to build the homes and the treatment plants, the pumping stations and the roads that are so essential for the next generation having somewhere to live and somewhere to work in this great country of ours. I myself am responsible for charter schools where we're finding new ways for communities to connect with their children and learn more so they too will have the skills to navigate the 21st century. And that's beside what the Ministry for Regulation is doing right across the board in sectors from early childhood education to importing products for agriculture and horticulture, where we're just making it easier to get stuff done and be more productive. So yes, we face real challenges as a government. But we're not sugarcoating it, we're not spinning it, we're getting it. And we're getting the job done of making it easier to do business and generate wealth for you and those that you care about so that our country has a pathway back to the first world prosperity that all of us deserve and many of us had the wisdom to vote for last year. I want to thank you for your support. It's not going to be easy, but it's absolutely essential because each of us deserve to live in a country with the best living standards in the world. That is what we are committed to delivering in the years to come as we absorb this news and plot a course to prosperity.